unfiltered up they stream. Straight from the heart of the Pimcore team. Breaking the mold, we're bringing it new. Knowledge and power directly to you.
Hello and welcome to this session of Pimcore Insight. My name is Christian, I'm VP Product at Pimcore, and with me in the session is again...
I'm Patrick and I'm Product Manager at Pimcore.
Hi Patrick. What should we talk about today, Patrick?
Today, I'd like to talk about PQL, so the Pimcore Query Language. That's something we already had in the classic UI that could be used for many features. And now in Studio, it's even possible to use it for more features. And I'd like to show you where it can be used, what it can be used for, and I also want to show you some examples. But I think before we jump in, can you explain what PQL is and why we introduced it?
For sure, I can do this. PQL stands for Pimcore Query Language, and as the name already suggests, it's a query language that we introduced for Pimcore. The reason is that we have so many complex filter requirements in Pimcore, and also the users want to do really complex filters, which is quite hard to create in a user interface. And previously, we often had the possibility to directly enter SQL, but of course, this is not that security approved, and often security advisories showed us that this we cannot do anymore. And so we needed to find an alternative. And that's where we came to the idea to introduce our own query language, which is a really simple syntax, simple query language, which is somehow similar to SQL, but of course, 100% secure. So there is no SQL injection, no security risks anymore. And it allows us to really do really complex and advanced filtering for many different use cases, actually. What use cases do we have already, Patrick?
Okay, let me show you. So here I have the product grid, and if I go to the search and filter option, so normally you have the normal options, and now if you activate the advanced mode, so here it's the first place where you can use PQL. Then, for example, for the portals, for the definition of the assortment, you have the normal workspace definition. And if you want to filter more, you can use the query language in here. For example, if you only want to show cars of a specific manufacturer. The same applies for the widget editor. So for example, this tree here is one widget. And if you only want to show a specific, in that case, for example, cars, also, for example, only German cars, you can use the PQL statement in here. And quite soon you will also see the CoPilot configuration, and also there it's possible to filter via PQL. So if you have a trigger on the assortment, you can filter down with the PQL statement so that the trigger only applies for specific objects.
So everywhere where we want to allow more advanced filtering possibilities, we will introduce the PQL filter. But of course, it will not replace the simple UI-based full text search and attribute-based filters that we, for example, have in the grid here. But we will allow more advanced options with the PQL. Now, we have seen where we can use it, but actually, what can we do now with PQL? What can we filter and how does it look like?
Okay, let's start with a very simple example. So here I'm filtering for all of the cars where the series is E-type and the color is green, or the production year is lower 1965. Now if I apply.
So we see here already we have, of course, simple field checks, but we also have and or, and can combine these with parentheses. So we really have a quite powerful language actually there, yeah.
And here you see the results. So all of type E-type, of the series E-type with the correct color and production year lower than 1965.
Really nice. But I think PQL is not just limited to filtering for the current data element, so for the current data object, but you also can filter via relations, true?
That's true. That's something I can show you with this example. So here we have a relation of a manufacturer that is connected to the data object. And now I'm searching for all manufacturer having the name Jaguar and production year lower than 1961. And here we see all cars that are having the manufacturer Jaguar. And as said, this is a relation, so it's an own data object. And the production year lower than 1961.
So this is where it really gets powerful. Actually, this is something like joins for SQL, but in this case with our PQL, and there we really can filter on relations and filter for attributes from related data objects, which gives you actually endless possibilities. But I think it's not just limited to data objects, but also you can filter for asset attributes, right?
True. Here I have an example. So here I'm looking for all data objects that have a gallery image assigned, and the gallery image should have a path of car images Volkswagen, so VW. So the images need to be stored in that folder or a subfolder. And now if I apply, hopefully I only get Volkswagen cars. Yeah, that makes sense. So I see the manufacturer here. So these cars have gallery image assigned that are stored in that specific folder. It's also, yeah, very cool.
So it shows just two simple examples, but this is really a very cool feature, I think. Actually, we not just can filter for data objects in general, but we can also apply the PQL query in assets, right?
Sure. I prepared an example for assets too. So here I do have a metadata field called recheck date on the asset. And now I'm searching for all assets that have a recheck date between today and today plus 7 days. So within the next week. So I try to find all assets where I have to do something within the next week. And if I click apply, I do see those 3 assets, and I'm just adding the date so that you can see what it did. So it's checking for this date, and this date is within the next 7 days, and it was found via that PQL query. And if you want to have more examples or want to find out how PQL works, you can just use the documentation. There you see the description of the syntax, all of the operators, how you can search for null and empty values, and or brackets, relations, as already mentioned, how the field names work, and so on and so forth.
So it's a quite extensive description of the PQL query language. And the really cool thing about this one is that you actually also can teach agents and LLMs to create these queries. So we are already testing something here that we really teach agents to write PQL queries, and this actually works really, really good. So you probably don't need to write these queries by your own, but you can just say then in the future, please filter me all red Jaguar cars with, I don't know, images that are about to expire. And then the agent can create you the corresponding PQL query. But this is actually something that we will talk about the next time, or probably at Inspire. For this time, we are already at the end. So see you soon, and don't forget to check out the Inspire and join us there, because there we have some more information about agents and these kind of things. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.